Alright, welcome to the No Effort Studios, where we don't take showers or brush our teeth before we start recording. We don't even set up lights. I literally just have an umbrella stuck to my closet door there's a light in there that's being diffused to light me. That's all we're doing. And for today's video, we're literally just going to be reading an article about the Sony A7Siii rumored specs. So let's get right into that now. These specs are pretty amazing. I think I already seen like Frono's photos video about it, so I know I have a little bit of an idea of it, but we're gonna read it live here together. And as you can see, apparently July 28, 2020, Sony's gonna be announcing the A7S III and they're gonna be talking about it. So I'm excited about that. But as you might know, I already made a video saying the A7S III is a stupid camera. And you can go watch that right here. And the main reason for that is because it just feels like, just imagine like there's like a really delicious like hamburger patty. And you take that hamburger patty and just put in like a hot dog bun. That's what the A7S III is for me, where it's like this amazing camera, that amazing video camera that's put inside of a photography video and has all the limitations of a photography camera does for a video. And that's my main problem with it. I think it would be better if it was on an an FS5 Mark III body, where you get all the video features, but you also get their amazing low light capability. So let's get into it. So first thing, new 12 megabit sensor with fast readout, which that sounds great. I thought they were gonna go for like 6K. I didn't think they would do 8K. But since it's 12 megapixels, that can only be 4K. One by like direct fucking 4K. You can get direct 4K with this camera, so that's great. And obviously it's gonna have amazing low light capability, like because with the Sony A7R III that I'm shooting with right now, it's honestly not that great in low light. I don't like going over like 6400 or 8000 ISO really. But with the A7S, right, some people do like 30,000 ISO and still get like clear image out of it without much noise. So that's exciting. And since it's a newer sensor, it's probably gonna be even better. So we'll see how it is, But oh my god, this ad is just blocking the thing. Okay, but whatever. But it says fast readout, so probably there's not gonna be a lot of rolling shutter. So that's exciting, and maybe people will be able to use it for like sports shooting maybe, but it's 12 megapixels, so we'll see how it is. Next we got it records in full HD 240 FPS. That's very exciting. With the A7R III you can only do 120 FPS in full HD, so this is doing 240 FPS. That sounds great, and hopefully you can do a higher bitrate, because the main problem I had with the slow motion with the A7 cameras is that if you were to do, it was like the same bitrate for all of it. It was 50 megabits per second if you were doing 20 FPS, or if you were doing 120 FPS. So your image quality dropped a lot. So at the bottom right here, it says an ad. No, it says 600 megabits bitrate. So if you can get at least like 300 megabits and 240 FPS, that would be amazing. But I'm excited for that. And the thing that kind of bums me out is that I wish they would like go a little higher than that, like because with the Sony FS5 that came out 5 years ago, you can go all the way up to 960 FPS. But for some reason, once after that, they just gave up on that, and admittedly, the 960 FPS didn't look great, even though it was advertised as 1080p. It's more like 360p. But I would like to have the option to do that, because even if it doesn't look great, as a creative, it gives you more toys to play around with and get your ideas out. So, but 200 FPS is fine, and can also do 4K 124 FPS, which is also great. I don't like shooting 4K that much, but still, for those that's great. And also for like shooting something like wildlife, that's amazing, because you can do slow motion video of like a bird flying, but since it's in 4K, you can crop in a little bit and get even closer to the bird. So that's great. 10-bit 422, amazing. FS5 does amazing 1080p, and mainly because it's a 10-bit signal, so hopefully we can do like 10-bit 1080p 422 and it will look good as the A7, as FS5. Like if you saw my video where I compared FS5 and A7, there's a huge difference in 1080p. So hopefully we can get good 1080p in this camera, which is what I mainly care about. and it can do 4K 124 FPS over HDMI, which, as you can see, Sony is still repeating the same problem, which is that they don't do internal RAW for some reason, while the competition does. Like Canon R5 does internal RAW. If you get the Blackmagic Pocket, that does RAW internal. But for some reason, if you buy like the 70,000 Sony Venice cinema camera, it still doesn't do internal RAW. You still have to buy like an attachment to it, and then after you get the attachment, then you can shoot it RAW, or you can still buy it externally. I don't know why they refuse to do internal RAW, but this camera also just does external RAW. But honestly, it's a progress in the right direction. With the A7 cameras, you can't do RAW or any like proper external shooting features. I think if you do external shooting with the A7, you can get like 10-bit and 1080p. But honestly, it's just that the main reason why people buy these cameras are because they're, you know, small like cameras, and once you put like a, you know, Atomos Inferno on top that's kind of like heavier than the camera with the battery on it, it kind of ruins the form factor. So, but it's there, so I'm not gonna complain. But I wish they did like internal RAW, even if it's just like 1080p or 4K 24, you know. But that's fine. So we got 600 megabits bitrate. That's great. I honestly, you know, I know a lot of people complain about the Sony 50 megabits bitrate, but to be honest, I kind of like it, because if you're a working videographer, you know, if you do any like interviews, you do conferences, events, or weddings, you know, you're shooting for like hours. And if you're shooting for hours, you do 600 megabits per second, your project's gonna be like a terabyte big, you know. But you know, they're probably gonna give us the options to use 600 megabits or use the 50 megabits that they had. So it's good to have the option, but that's cool that they're giving us more bitrate, so I'm happy with that. The base ISO for S-Log3 is 160, which is interesting. So I mean, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe they're saying it has better dynamic range, because honestly, with the A7 or pretty much any A7 camera, and even the Sony A7Siii, I wasn't using S-Log3. And even in my next video that I'm going to be shooting tonight, where I'm going to be talking about what lots to use with S-Log, I don't like using S-Log3 because S-Log3 is for 16 stops of dynamic range, and these cameras don't shoot 16 stops, they shoot more like 14 stops, and for that S-Log2 works better in my opinion. So if they're saying the base ISO is 460 for S-Log3, so they're putting effort into the S-Log3, that's kind of telling me that this camera does do 16 stops of dynamic range. But of course, that's something we would have to test out and see. But that is interesting. So I mean, there should be better dynamic range with this camera over the A7 cameras, but we're gonna see. But that is very interesting to me, and I'm not in focus. No dual ISO, which is a bummer, but I didn't expect it to have it. But it would have been really nice if it had it, but it's not a video camera. I mean, it is a video camera, but it's a photography camera's body for some reason, so I'm not surprised. It would have been nice if it had dual ISO, but it doesn't, so okay. Okay, the max ISO is 409,600, and I guarantee it's still gonna look decent at that, because the A7S cameras are pretty insane. 16-bit raw output. Now that's Canon R5 game over. Oh wait, claims over 15 stops dynamic range. Okay, so there you go. So this camera is gonna be insane. These two things right here, if I can target them, I can't. Okay, these things right here. Oh my god, there's an ad now. Can we see it? Okay, here we go. 16-bit raw output and 15 stops of dynamic range. That's like Sony Venice levels right there. Once you like take this camera, I'm sure it will do amazing internally, but once you like get like an Atomos Inferno and like put in a cage and everything, this is gonna be an amazing cinema camera. And God, I can't afford this camera right now, but I really want it right now because that is amazing. Oh, that's so good. 16-bit raw output. Wow. Of course, we're gonna have to actually test out the camera to see how it is, but Wow. World's high is okay. World high is EVF. I mean, it's a video camera. You're probably not gonna use the EVF. You're probably gonna be using the flip out screen, which it probably doesn't have. We're gonna see if it has. Oh, okay, it does. So we're gonna get into that. But EVF, I don't really care about. For video, I never use it. I use it for photography mainly. So, I mean, that's cool. I'm not gonna complain about it. New kind of passive, noise-free cooling system with a mesh on the side to let air in. Camera still weather sealed. Okay, so it's noise-free. That's cool. No overheating and no recording time limit. So this is like a jab at Canon, I guess. And I mean that is important because overheating is kind of ridiculous nowadays. Like I get it with the Canon R5, it overheating in 8K, but honestly, with the R5, again, we're gonna have to test it out first, see how bad the overheating actually is. And if it's just for 8K, I don't really care. But if it overheats in 1080p or 4K, that's gonna be insane. I know it said it overheats at like if you shoot at 120 FPS, but if it still overheats at 24 FPS, that's unacceptable. No recording time limits. That is actually huge. Because again, if you're a working videographer, you're gonna shoot more than an hour. You're gonna, even if you don't do it right now, you're gonna get some gig that's like, oh, I'm shooting a conference. Can you just shoot the conference for me? It's an hour long. If you have the 30-minute limit, you can't accept that job and you're gonna miss it. You're gonna be missing out on money. So again, or if you're shooting an interview, you're gonna need to shoot more than 30 minutes. So that's huge. It's ridiculous. Like these camera companies put limits on the amount of time you can record for no reason. Like I get it if it overheats, but put like, you know, either put a fan on it, or you know, just put like a lower resolution, like 720p or something, where we can shoot at unlimited. Like for example, with the I have a Panasonic G7 that has 30-minute recording limit in 4K, but in 1080p you can shoot as long as you want. So that's pretty huge. And another thing is that if it does have unlimited recording limit, then hopefully it will have hot swappable cards, which means that if you have two memory cards plugged into the A7S3, once it's done, if it fills up like memory card A, it will switch over to the B seamlessly, and then you can take out memory card A, swap it out with another card, and then once the B stops recording, it will go back to A, and then you can just go on forever. Another cool thing that would be is if it had AC plug-in options to it, so that you know, you don't have to worry about battery. You can just plug it into the wall and not have to worry about it. They probably won't put that because that's more of a cinema camera thing, but it would be nice if they had that. So I'm guessing we're still gonna have to use like dummy batteries to be able to do it. Squarespace apparently is putting an ad on my video without paying me, so that's cool. UHS2 card support, so I guess that means we're still gonna use SD cards. Okay, we're gonna see, I guess. We'll find out at 28th. Yeah, July 28th, if that's the case. Where are we at? Okay, looks pretty similar to A7R4, which is what I suspected, so it will be better ergonomics than the A7R3, which is not my favorite, but it gets the job done. Fully articulated screen like the Sony ZV-1, which I think I've seen it. Let's Google it right now. ZV-1. Oh, so it fully Oh, let's see this girl's video. Wait.
Holy smoke.
Okay, am I gonna get copyrighted for this? Alright, I'm gonna mute the video. We're stealing her content. Sarah Daichi. Guessing she's German. Okay. Where is it? Okay, so we get fully articulating. Okay, alright, this is exciting. This is definitely exciting. Okay. Announcement late July and shipments start mid-August. Holy shit, that's like a month away. Oh, man. Wow. Oh my god, look at my armpits. Holy shit. That's how I feel about this camera. This is gonna be an amazing camera, and it's probably gonna be up the heights. I mean, worth the hype. Wow. I mean, obviously, if these are still rumors, but I'm sure they're real. It sounds pretty believable, and honestly, this sounds amazing. I mean, it sounds better than the Canon R5 as a video camera. As a photography camera, you know, R5 is a 42 megapixel, 45 megapixel camera with like that shoots high frame rate. So as a hybrid camera, the Canon R5 is probably better. But for just straight up video, this sounds amazing, especially if you can get an Atomos Inferno or something and record it externally. Then you're gonna get 16-bit RAW with over 15 stops of dynamic range. That's like almost like film, like that's just amazing. Oh man, wow! I'm just taking it all in. You know, my sweats are just pouring out of my body everywhere. I'm not even gonna stand up because you don't want to see what's down there right now. But that sounds amazing. If I can afford it at that time, I definitely want to get it and check out this camera. But yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. But wow, this camera sounds amazing. And again, I wish it was in a Sony A7Siii body, so we get like XLR recording and like, you know, get an internal ND filter. That would have been amazing. But still, this camera is pretty amazing. There's gonna be you're gonna make some compromises because it's gonna be a photography camera body, but the cool thing is that you'll still be able to like put on a gimbal, like a Ronin S or something. Besides like having to buy like a bigger gimbal to like if it was in like a cinema camera's body, and it's also gonna be smaller and lighter. So if you're like a wedding videographer, you don't have to carry a giant camera with you. Alright, now let's read the comments on the last video, which was nothing. So let me know what you guys think about this camera, if you're buying it or not, or just roast me in the comments or whatever, and I'll read it in the next video. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. I make videos every single week. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at YakAlmighty, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.